Welcome back to NT Coins World, where we explore the history, value, and hidden treasures of rare coins. If you're a coin collector or just someone curious about valuable pennies, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into some of the top 2 Lincoln pennies that are worth serious money. The 1968 Lincoln penny and 1970 Lincoln penny. We'll break down each coin's history, design, mintage, key errors, and market value. So stick around to see if you have one of these gems hiding in your collection. Let's get started. The 1968 Lincoln penny marks an important period in U.S. coinage history. This was the first year after the United States Mint resumed minting pennies with the mint mark on the obverse front of the coin. From 1965 to 1967, all U.S. coins were struck without mint marks to discourage hoarding. So when the mint mark returned in 1968, it was a significant event for collectors. During this time, the U.S. was experiencing economic shifts, and while pennies were still made primarily from copper, the rising cost of metal would eventually lead to changes in composition in later years. The 1968 Lincoln penny was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver D, and San Francisco S. The 1968 Lincoln penny retains the classic design introduced in 1909 by Victor David Brenner feature, a portrait of President Abraham Lincoln with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above his head, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1968 to the right. The Lincoln Memorial, which replaced the wheat ears reverse in 1959, designed by Frank Gasparo. It includes the inscriptions "United States of America" at the top, "E Pluribus Unum" in the center above the memorial, and 1 cent at the bottom. The total mintage of 1968 Lincoln pennies across all mints, 3 mints, was quite high, but some versions are rarer than others. 1968 Philadelphia, no mint mark, 1,707,890,970. 1968 D Denver Mint, 2,886,269,600. 1968 S San Francisco Mint, 258,270,001. Among these, the 1,968 S-proof pennies are particularly sought after as they were struck with higher detail and mirror-like finishes. The value of a 1,968 Lincoln penny depends on its condition, rarity, and whether it has any errors. Here's a general breakdown. Circulated common condition, $0.05 to $0.25. Uncirculated mint state MS, $60 to MS65, $2 to $25. MS67 and above $100 to $500 plus. Proof versions, 1968, S-proofs in PR 67 to PR 69, $5 to $100 plus. Key errors. Some error pennies can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Errors significantly increase a coin's value, and several rare 1968 Lincoln penny errors are sought after by collectors. One of the most valuable varieties, a double die error, occurs when the coin's design is mistakenly imprinted twice. Look for noticeable doubling in God We Trust, Liberty, and the date 1968. Some specimens in high grade have so for $500 to $2,000 plus. 1968 SRPM repunched mint mark. This error happens when the mint mark was stamped more than once in slightly different positions. A strong RPM on the 1968 S penny can be worth $50 to $300, depending on grade. Some pennies were struck off-center, meaning part of the design is missing. The value depends on how misaligned the strike is, with extreme cases fetching $100 to $500. This occurs when a piece of the blank metal was accidentally cut off before striking. Depending on severity, values range from $10 to $100, $100 plus. Some 1968 pennies were accidentally struck on dime planchets or foreign coin blanks. These errors can be extremely valuable, often selling for $1,000 to $5,000 plus. Common circulated coins. Most 1968 pennies are not rare. but they are still worth keeping if they are in good condition. High-grade examples. If you find an MS67 or MS68 penny with a high-quality strike and no blemishes, it could fetch a significant premium. Error. Coins. Rare varieties like the double die or repunched mint mark RPM are highly sought after and always worth checking for. For new collectors, the 1968 penny is an excellent starting point, affordable in lower grades, but with exciting high-value varieties to hunt for. The 1970 Lincoln penny is a fascinating piece of U.S. coinage history, minted during a time of economic and political change. By 1970, the United States was dealing with inflation, the Vietnam War, and shifts in public policy. Pennies continued to be made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, but their rising production cost foreshadowed future changes. This year also marks one of the most famous and sought-after error pennies in U.S. history, the 1970S small-date double-die variety, which is considered one of the most valuable Lincoln memorial cents ever discovered. The 1970 Lincoln penny was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; San Francisco, S mint mark, including proof and business strike coins. The 1970 penny continued the Victor David Brenner obverse design, introduced in 1909, and the Frank Gasparro reverse, first used in 1959. Portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right. "In God we trust" is inscribed above. Liberty is on the left side. The year 1970 appears on the right, with the mint mark below if present. Features the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. United States of America at the top, e pluribus unum above the memorial. 1 cent at the bottom. Despite being widely circulated some 1970, Lincoln pennies are extremely rare due to variations in minting, especially from the San Francisco Mint. 1970, Philadelphia. No mint mark, 1,898,315,000. 1970, D Denver Mint. 2,891,438,900. 1970, S San Francisco. Business strikes 690,560,004. 1970 S. Proof 2,632,810. Circulated coins. Common condition $0.02 to $0.10. Uncirculated MS60 to MS65, $1 to $15, MS67, and above $100 to $500 plus. Proof 1970 S. Coins $5 to $50 plus key. Error coins 1970 S. Small date D, DO, RPM or other errors, hundreds to thousands of dollars. The 1970 Lincoln penny is famous for several key varieties and errors, some of which can make a coin worth thousands of dollars. 1970 S. Small date versus large date. Small date. The 7 in 1970 is level with the 0, and Liberty appears weakly struck. Large date. The 7 is noticeably higher than the 0. The small date is much rarer and worth significantly more, especially in high grades. One of the most famous double die errors in US coin history. Clear doubling is seen in Liberty and In God We Trust. High-grade specimens can sell for $3,000 to $10,000 plus 1970 SRPM repunched mint mark. Some coins have the S mint mark repunched, making them collectible. Values range from $20 to $200 plus, depending on condition. Coins with off-center strikes of 10% to 50% can be worth $50 to $300 plus, depending on how much of the date remains visible. Some 197 pennies were struck on foreign coin blanks or other incorrect planchets. Values vary, but rare cases can exceed $5,000. Common circulated coins. While most 1970 pennies are not rare, they are still of interest to collectors looking for high-grade examples. Uncirculated and Proof coins. The 1970 S-proof coins, especially those graded PR67 or higher, can fetch solid prices among collectors. Key era coins. The 1970 S. Small date, doubled die. Penny is a true treasure, and finding one could be a life-changing discovery. Even if you don't find the rarest varieties, 1970 pennies are an exciting year to collect, offering different mint marks, proof coins, and potential errors to hunt for. That wraps up our deep dive into the 1968 Lincoln penny and 1970 Lincoln penny. If you've enjoyed this breakdown and found it helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update from NT Coins World. And now, it's your turn. Do you have a rare 1968 and 1970 pennies in your collection? Have you ever found one with an error? Let us know in the comments below. Stay tuned for more episodes where we explore the most valuable and rare coins out there. Thanks for watching and happy collecting.